Hi! Salute, salute, salute. Frontliners. World. Soul fam. Wow. Wow, let me tell you. I did a video yesterday on Facebook. Well, I did a couple actually on Facebook, yeah. And the repercussions are coming in thick and fast. So if you want to enjoy that, please go to my Facebook page and feel free to watch. And this is to do with domestic violence, which is a serious topic and it's a serious problem. And obviously that's what I'm talking about and have been talking about with my personal experiences. And needless to say, despite having done this and been talking about this now since a year ago this started, and going through everything with you guys and sharing all of the trials and tribulations, and all the things that have happened since as well that are ongoing because he just won't stop. Needless to say, and obviously because it's so in the public eye, it's like even more so it needs to be talked about. More people, that's just how it is. If we want to stop it, we have to talk about it. We have to get to the bottom of it. We have to, and people need to heal on both sides, and the only way to do that is to talk about it. But wow, my mum is now getting harassing calls. So the only person that has that number, because she's getting people calling up, asking to speak to me, men. And the only person that has her number is him and his family. Nobody would call me on my mum's number to speak to me. So it's just like another form of intimidation. Hence why I'm wearing my military helmet. Like, seriously. When will it end? Decaf. So I am on day 8 of no caffeine and I am feeling pumped, I've got to say. Day 2 of my water fast. I can already see the difference and I've been exercising. And I tell you what I realised is my mental strength, is bang on right about now. But my physical strength needs some serious work. And I was watching, I tell you who, look, respect to everybody right about now, Warriors. But guys in the Marines and the SEALs and all these elite forces, I've been watching their training, like Hell Week. What the? Wow. And then I'm there I'm doing, my exercise is, I'm doing 100 squats a day for 30 days. And, well, I'm just going to carry it on, but I'm just going to see the difference for 30 days. And 100, what we're doing, 100 squats, 100 press-ups, and 100 sit-ups. And then I'm using this thing. I've got I want to call it twist and shout, but it's not twist and shout. But you know what I mean. So, yeah, and I haven't probably exercised for ages because I've just been like absorbed in being a nosy bitch and bringing down the system. But yeah, I am. My arms, my goodness me, I'm so weak. And then I just think to myself, come on, You've got to be able to do it. If these guys can do this hell week, like, wow. And the other thing as well, cold showers. I talked about this months ago, because one of the things that there was a doctor said it's good for depression. I think there was a program on it, maybe like a year ago or longer. Oh no, it wasn't really longer. It must have been in 2019. About cold water swimming as a treatment, because when you get into the cold water, obviously sends all your, is it endorphins? You know what I mean? I'll put the link into the real science. Don't trust me. And no, do trust me, because I am telling the truth. Yeah, and it sends these chemicals around and makes you feel better. And it's dead true. And also think about it with any kind of person in sport, they generally tend to use ice baths and stuff as well, don't they? But it's really good. It really. So now if I ever have like a little down minute, or not down, as in feel down, but as in tired, more like that, fatigue, I just stick myself under the cold tap, under the cold shower. Works every time. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And also just want to shout out to all of those guys. Jeez, you are warriors, aren't you? Wow. RESPECT. Right. So let me tell you, I've been watching various things on crime, and I know a little bit about this, having gone out with a criminal, but there's some serious fraudsters about at the moment, and it's gone up like crazy during lockdown. So people need to be on point when it comes to this. So the ones that have well, pretty much everything's got almost, but hey, we're surviving. Right, romance fraud, just cyber fraud in general is an all-time high, and obviously there's ones where they can just hacking into your doing the one that I know about from what my ex did, which is where they sort of hack into your bank account, they take pennies and then they start taking more and more and more. Yeah, and they do that via PayPal, and then they switch it from bank to bank. So first and foremost, check your bank statements. Everyone check their bank statements regularly. And if there's anything, report it, because they should be able to get your money back. Because, and this is also just personal experience, in the last 3 months, me and my mum have both have had, well, I wonder who that is. But we've both had regular fraudulent transactions, just money being taken out like it's a card payment somewhere, and it'll be like 350 miles away. And I'm just sat here attached to my laptop, so it's definitely not me. And it's going through as like a swipe transaction, because you know how it says in the bar, doesn't it? So everyone needs to check their bank transactions, because I'm sorry, there are different types of crime, obviously, and a lot of the people that commit crimes, it's not, the intention isn't it's not the intent. The intention isn't there for like that. It's a matter of circumstance and situation and trauma and all of these other things. And actually, I think rehabilitation is a much better answer than prison. opportunity, care, support, love, all of those. And then there's the top level crimes, like serial killers. It's like there's no, like those ones there. It's like, why are we paying for them on one hand, and then also all the sort of lower crimes that people get put to prison for? It's like the rehabilitation would be much better. And statistically, they're less likely to reoffend, because if you're giving them the care and support and the education and opportunity to earn money, give them something to strive for, give them, so they help them find their purpose and deal with their emotions and stuff, then they're not going to reoffend, and it's also going to save them money, and it's better for them. They'll be happier, healthier, wealthier person. So that system's broken as well. Just to add to it, let's get a checklist going. Right. But people that do this fraud here, these cyber, where they're just abusing, and it's generally done it obviously emotionally. And there's there's another ones as well. So they're targeting vulnerable people. It's got up 50%. It's doubled. Is that doubled? Yeah. So yeah, they are being used and targeted, and then because they're vulnerable, they're being manipulated, and it's just the worst kind when you're using somebody's emotions and using their human nature against them because they care, getting into their heads and that. I'm going to put in a link to various bits of information on this. So first and foremost, any of these things, right? I think the reality of this is that there's a lot more of this going on. Well, then maybe we'd been so distracted we just hadn't realised how bad it had gotten on all levels. So it's just about being vigilant and preparing, having the information, isn't it? Everyone having the information at the same time, so that you can make, better decisions with the information, and just protecting yourself. And so the first thing is, don't let anyone in your house. When they're like, and this is to do with rogue traders, like people that come door knocking, I'm just naturally suspicious of. And this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen to the haves. It only happens to have-nots and then have-nots. Sorry, that's my old surname. So it's like it's just it's just. And the reason I say this is because there was a guy on this program. He must have been about 80. And a youngish builder came round and said, I don't know if you know, but your, whatever bit of it on the house, the guttering or something to do with the roof, it's like, I've just driven past and I've noticed that, there's something really majorly wrong with it. Do you want me to take a look at it? And this guy was like, oh gosh, okay. So he took a look at it, gave him a quote for some astronomical amount. And this was like over the course of a few, he kept coming back, and he basically befriended this guy, and then he gave him a backstory of being like how he really needed emotional support and really needed a friend, and he didn't have any family, and so he really. So then this sort of 80-year-old guy was like, felt, oh, you know, he needs me, and I'm his emotional support system. So by the time then the guy comes with the quote, you know, it's like he's he thinks he's like friends with him, like a surrogate son or something. And then the guy transfers him tens of thousands of pounds for work on his house that doesn't even need doing. So it obviously then comes out, and the guy goes off and comes back like the next week, starts it, but only just a little tiny bit, and then goes off and says he's going to get some supplies or something, and doesn't come back. So now the guy's just, not only his house has been tampered with when it was perfectly fine in the first place, so he's just fucked it up. He's out of pocket tens of thousands of pounds, and not only that, he's been emotionally abused. So save yourself the trouble when it comes to this kind of stuff, because unfortunately these crimes do happen. So just, if someone comes to your door that you have not invited, mate, I don't even open the door. That door is not opening. Okay, no, I'm not getting suckered into nada. So yeah, if it's a charity, I don't mind. But even if you do open the door, just don't let them in your house. Just be like, yeah, thank you for the information. Let them go. Do not let them in. Do not let these sort of doorstop knockers people in. No. Just be like, I'll contact you later if I'm interested. Thank you. The romance one. This is actually, it's similar sort of. It's all the same psyche. It's all the same, you know, traits. They, again, it's a similar. It's in terms of when anyone that you've only met online, no matter how much you think you love them from just meeting them online, don't do it. Don't send them any money ever. If you have not met them, it doesn't matter how long this goes on. You can't be having an online relationship and then out of the blue, because they'll come at you out of the blue. This is what this program was saying. They're just like, this lady was, check this. This lady was on a gaming app. She likes playing Scrabble or something like that. She's not, you know, and she herself was also quite vulnerable. And if you're on your own and you aren't, this is the danger about love. Sorry, you need to just love yourself, be happy on your own, because then, and just not trust people so easily. And I know, because I do it. I literally do the exact same thing, so I know. But we've just got to stop doing it. Because they will, if they think they can get away with it, they'll try. And that's their intent and these kind of people, that's their intent in the first place. So he basically had stolen photos of a real general, name and photos, created this profile on this game, and there's a chat function, and then messaged her out of the blue, and then they just started chatting. And then obviously after a while he was telling her he was in Afghanistan, and then he was like, oh, but I'm having work done in my house in America while I'm in Afghanistan and they need paying. He did a slightly different route. He went, can you transfer it from one account to another, and gave her the account details. So she went to try and do it. And then she got an email back which said, in order to do this transaction, you need to pay, I think it was $7,000 in tax. She was like, that sounds a bit suspect, doesn't it? And he obviously then on the messenger was like messaging her, going, no, please, please, please. And she obviously started then feeling like this isn't right. And so she reported it before she did anything. So, lesson for today on that is, don't ever send anyone that randomly messages you that you don't know. When they message you, doesn't matter what it is, what app it is on, what site it is on, what social media, whatever, email, anything, whatever format it is coming in. If you don't know them, if you have not met them, doesn't matter what sweet talking they try to use to get into your mind and emotions. Don't. If as soon as they start asking for money and you've not met them and actually having a relationship, physical, just say no. Straight away, report it. Because no one would do that. Listen. No one would do that. No one would ask somebody that, no one would. Not really. Not really, truly. You wouldn't ask somebody that you've only just met, that you have only spoken to online on a online gaming chat for money. You wouldn't. No matter how much of a relationship you're thinking you're in. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to be guilty about, because I've fallen for it many a time myself. So really, it's not the best thing to do if you think that you are in a situation like that, where you've not met the person, and you look back on it now and you're thinking they messaged you randomly and you've been giving them money. Just look at Catfish. Watch Catfish. People do it to people all the time. I haven't watched Catfish crazy, but that people do that to people all the time, and it's wrong, and it's not fair, and it's playing with people's emotions. And the worst thing is the people that are doing it are the police guy was saying that they're doing it to about 200, 300 people all at the same time. So that same message is going, whatever message you're getting is going to 300 people at the same time. Just better off protecting yourself. And I know it's lockdown, and I know it's hard, and I know people are lonely, but you're not alone. We may not physically be together, but we are together. And the universe and the divine is protecting us and loving us and supporting us. Whether or not you understand that or appreciate it or feel it, it is there. So just protect yourselves. Because these people, do you know how much money they've taken? £65 million so far in the last 12 months from romantic fraud. So if you feel like any of this is ringing true for you, I'm going to put in some links and some numbers so you can report it, because once it's, this is the thing, there's nothing to be embarrassed about, nothing to be ashamed about. Talk about it, because if you report it, then they can investigate it, and they can and are catching people that have done it. And obviously the more people that do it, because, you know, as I said to you, generally there's like they're doing hundreds of people at the same time. They'll tend to ask for transfers, just so you know, transfers and things by PayPal, vouchers, and bank transfers generally. And this goes on a step further. We need to be excuse me, because they're targeting a certain demographic. Yeah, and it's certain age groups, and it's people that's on their own, and during this time now, and it's ramped up, it's doubled, and so is all kinds of cyber fraud. Like, these people are not right. Not when everything else is so, you know, like, the situation is bad enough as it is, and people are losing their jobs, they're losing everything, businesses, having to have the stress of at home, all of these other things, and then to add insult to injury, they're then gonna pick people out and steal any money that they might have, and emotionally abuse them at the same time. No. Not having it. So I'm going to put some links in on where to report it, who to report it to, and just remember, no, as soon as they ask you, that's it. As soon as they ask you for money, it doesn't matter what it is, report it. It's not real. Where am I? And also, if they start asking you to do transfers between banks, be careful, because that's money laundering. It can be, and that in itself is a crime. So then you're being they're trying to drag you to be party to their crime. So this is the extra thing of it. Where am I? Sorry. Do you know what? I didn't bring my notepad downstairs. So what I've done is I've basically written all over my paper, just all around the edge. There is a app that's been created by some amazing women in America called Kind App, and it's for people that are suffering from social anxiety, and it will put you in contact with other people that have got social anxiety. So I'm going to put the link into that. Where am I? Oh, this is really bad. So during the pandemic, the NHS, who I love, salute, warriors, something is going to miss here though, and I'll tell you why. Over 500 people they didn't resuscitate, even though there was no DNR signs. They didn't bother to resuscitate them. And there's a correlation between those. So they didn't do the resuscitation when they could have potentially survived, and there wasn't a DNR in place, which means that they've agreed that nothing will be done. And there's a correlation between that and that a large proportion of those 500 have learning disabilities. So I'm just letting everybody know, because I think that's absolutely disgraceful. And it just really highlights that I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world. I'm going to look it up. End of life care in general. Where am I? Did you know that dog crime and theft? Sorry, this liquids. I tell you, I am having a coffee. I know I said water fasting. What decaf? What is that cheating? I probably should have looked it up, shouldn't I? Oh well. Back on the water after that. Dog crime is up by 250%. People are stealing dogs now. And it's to such an extent, they're like, don't post pictures of your dogs on your social media because people are actively seeking out people with dogs of certain breeds, because the price of dogs has also during lockdown gone up threefold. So then the people that want to steal dogs are searching people's social media, seeing where the dogs are, and then what they're doing is they're checking their posts and seeing where they live, what locations by what they've written in posts and things, and if they've tagged themselves in locations. Levels. Yeah. And also that brings another question in my mind. What about all the dogs that are in their dog homes? Why is everyone so... Why don't we rehome some of them? Because also the problem here is that there's so many bad breeders. There's so many people that don't have breeding licenses that are treating these animals like absolute shit, and charging an absolute fortune. And by buying dogs from breeders like that, then you're supporting that. You're supporting these awful conditions and these awful... So... And then also there's all these dogs that are in the dogs' homes. So why aren't we? And you know that those have been cared for. You know that those have been loved. You know that those have been, it's a difficult one. But it's craziness. What's going on? Like, unbelievable, isn't it? Oh, wait. I'll tell you what I wanted to talk to you about as well. Big Up. Let me just double check the name of the place. I want to say... Oh, come on. It's somewhere in Illinois. I want to say... Oh, I don't want to say it wrong. It begins with E. And they've just agreed reparations. And although my thoughts on this are, I think it's a great step forward, but I don't think the amount is in anywhere near the ballpark of what should be paid. But it's a starting point. And I'll tell you why, because I've done some maths. So I went back and I looked at... First of all, there's a statement from the US government saying that 10 to 12 trillion is the value that they think that they are responsible for. And if you divide that by the number of people that it would go to, that 25,000 isn't anywhere near that by a lot. So there's that. The next thing is, what do these people think that 400 years worth of oppression and is worth, or a life is worth, or your family's lives, or that I just don't think that they've really thought that through. And it's not like it's, it'd be amazing if we could just click our fingers and everything would be equal and discrimination didn't exist and hate crimes didn't exist and we all just got along. And I think on the most part we do. But there are certain people that in certain areas of society that are just hell-bent on dividing us and spreading their poison through their whatever channel they can. But $25,000 does not equate to the pain and suffering continued and hatred that has been experienced and felt by people. It just doesn't. And loss. Just doesn't. It's not even anywhere near it. Can't put a number on it actually, but you know what I mean. 25. It's a start, and well done for doing it. I think it's an amazing step forward. But come on, try and put yourself in their shoes, in anyone's shoes. Whenever if I ever, I just always try and think of what would it be like how would I feel if I was in Syria right now? If I was, if I was try and understand what kind of space that would be, what kind of emotions they would feel, how painful that would be, how hurt, how angry, how all of those things, because you have to try and understand it. We have to try and understand each other. We have to try and understand why things are the way they are. And also, oh my God, lazy eye again today. Like, seriously, maybe I'm dehydrated. Yes, so then I looked up, I thought, okay, I'm going to look up, because obviously in the UK, we've been paying the slave traders back up until 2015, which I didn't know about until about 2 years ago. So I thought I'd look up what that was, what the value of that was. So in 1833, the British government agreed a deal with slave traders to the tune of 40% of GDP and £20 million. That was in 1833. Now, I've worked it out. In today's money, this is obviously according to the Internet of Things. And actually, the 10 to 12 trillion is a lot higher. And I could be wrong, but I'm just using the there's a website you can put in which puts in the year that you want, or the original year, and then converts it into the currency. So I'm only going on that. This isn't some math whiz that I am, because I'm not. 622,622,400 pounds. That's on the basis. Oh, in fact, that's in dollars. Is it? Anyway, that's what we would have paid them back. That's a lot, isn't it? And it's also a slap in the face when you think they didn't actually stop slave trading either. They just took it underground, didn't they? So it's just insulting. and you should have that money. So I think that we should do it. We should also do reparations. Oh, I said it again about a year ago. I also said that we should blow up Parliament, but hey. We should definitely do it. Absolutely. Everyone should do it. Because it's wrong. So, and I think as well, the descendants of the slave traders pay for it. Although I don't know if they would. I think actually it's the banks, isn't it? They were what? That's I think at least with the UK. I don't know what it's like in the States. That's who they had to pay. So yeah, that was just my thoughts on that. But at least we're making steps, aren't we? Yay! Anyway, this is keeping me entertained and occupied endlessly, which is good because at least it stops me from worrying about people harassing my mum. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, NHS, listen to this. Yeah, listen to this article. So I worked out, and a nurse's, I could be wrong again, I Google searched it, so blame Google. A starting salary for a nurse is 25,000, according to the information I saw. Is that right? So on the current 1% increase, that's £250 extra a year. Right? Listen to this article. The council, which is an insult, FYI, but we know this. We're sorting it. We're doing it. We're not having that, are we? No. So, council's poultry pay offer is a slap in the face. This is Scotland, it says. A pay offer to council workers was described by union representatives as a slap in the face for hard-working staff who have gone above and beyond during the pandemic. Unison said the proposal from the Covenant of Scottish Local Authorities of £800, so it's already 3 times what you'll get, for those earning 25,000 fell short of what local governments deserve. The union, which demanded an extra 2,000, said that Costa's proposal would give those on the lowest wages only £10 a week more, which does little to address issues of low pay. No shit, Sherlock. Like, how can this be? So the government is saying 2.5 in the written documents that they gave beforehand. Now they're saying out in public they're only going to give you 1%. 1% is on a starting salary of 25,250 quid, which is nothing. Like, they should double your salaries, frankly, after the last year of absolute shit show. But in Scotland, local government are getting 800, and they want 2,000 for their. Let's look at it again. Local government worker. Look, I've got nothing against local, but you see that it's the comparison that's really the silliness, and which is they've gone above and beyond, haven't they? In comparison to the NHS, gone above. So then I saw this little gem. Right, look at this gem here. Where is it? Oh, where's it gone now? I love my furniture taste. I couldn't plug this enough because Warriors. You know, I know. I know, you know, I know. Oh, where is it? Homegrown. Yeah, it's homegrown coronavirus variant. Do you know why it's homegrown? Because it's patented. It's patented and created in a lab over here. I showed that before in a previous video, but I'll put it in again for shits and gigs. Oh, I can't find it. I'm gonna revise my notes for later. Look, our challenge, our purpose. Here we go. We like these guys. Marsh McLennan. Got a backbone. Got a moral. Like ya. Right. Where are we? No, I think that's it for now. I shall return later. Oh, no, it isn't. I'll tell you what I wanted to talk to you about. Last Friday, I thought it was Comic Relief, and it wasn't. It's today. And there is a little a guy on it. I watched this program yesterday. What an inspiration this kid is. It's called Billy's Big Challenge. I think that's probably the right way to say it. And he's a double amputee. He was not a Formula One, but one of the formulas racer, like up and coming, and he had a really bad, awful accident and lost both of his legs, but at different points. From like one was from just below the knee and the other one's above the knee. This week, this guy, wow, he has done 140 miles walking and cycling on prosthetic legs. What a warrior, man. Like, so much respect. What an inspiration he is. Absolutely amazing. So I'll put a link into him, because the more money we can raise, the better. And I think that's it. So, oh no, it's not. On that, I was watching Crime Watch briefly. I kind of I have like a 5-minute span, and then I get distracted and do something else. So we all need to know about what a hate crime is. Again. So in order to stop hate crimes, we need to be able to A, firstly, all know what one is, and B, when we see one, try and stop it and also help report it. Because hate crimes against race, there's 5 categories: race, religion, gender, sexual, where's my note? Sexual preference, is that what? So race, gender, disability, religion, and sexual orientation. That's it, sexual orientation. Right. So hate crimes, they're just wrong. And that can be, and there's loads of things that could come under that definition of hate crime. We need to be in a place where we just get on, please. Please. It's just a waste of time and energy, guys. We're fam. We could be just using all of our energy to do good stuff in the world. It just doesn't have to be this way. So if we see, if we see it in the street or in the bus or in the train or wherever we see it, just need to call people out. Because it's wrong. So I'll put a link into that. And the last thing is I'm going to put a link into Crime Watch just because there was this awful thing, and this guy, CCTV footage, the girl had reported she woke up, she'd fallen asleep on a bus. This makes me feel sick. She'd fallen asleep on a bus, and she woke up and a guy was sexually fondling her on the bus. Like, what the... So bravery to that girl for coming forward on that. So I'm going to put a link into that because apparently he travels regularly on the bus, and so that if anyone else, if you go onto their website, which is what I'll put in, and if you recognise him and it's happened to you, you need to come forward to get him, because come on, levels. I didn't realise it was as bad as this in certain topics. It's quite disturbing. And that's what we know. That's So can you imagine what we don't know? Like, can you imagine that? What the CIA and FBI and Interpol and all of that, the levels that they have to deal with. And MI5 and come on. So salute to all of you as well. Love you guys. Right, that's me. Done. Signing off. Over and out. Until later. Keep doing what you're doing. Love you.